we're going to talk about how to steal your competitors' best content. And what you're going to do with that is destroy them in rankings and take their traffic. And then you become rich. Why wouldn't you want to learn this? So let's dive right in. All right, so what you're going to learn today is how to steal your competitors' best performing traffic, the processes you need to do that, as well as the software you're going to need. And then there are going to be some bonus tips at the end. So let's just dive right into this. So why would you even want to steal your competitors' best traffic? Because it already ranks. It's basically a free indication of what Google likes and what your competitors have spent time doing, and it potentially gives you an idea of the things that you can just create to outperform them, thus stealing their traffic and then monetizing it on your own. So the tools you're going to need to do this are really just one. It's Ahrefs software, and then their Chrome extension, which just comes with the software. So I like this tool because it gives you all these metrics within the Chrome extension, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So I'm going to show you two ways to find competitors' traffic using the Ahrefs tool. With the Chrome extension activated, what you want to do is throw your keyword into Google and then look at the SERPs. So what you can see with the Chrome extension is lots of valuable SEO metrics that you can use to decide whether or not a post, first and foremost, ranks for a lot of keywords by using that KW metric. So what it will do is we'll look at the list in the SERPs and then look at the amount of keywords a post ranks for, and then say, okay, hey, let me take a look at this, and then click on the Ahrefs button to bring up the software, and then you can see all the keywords that a post ranks for. And so that's a really good way to determine whether that's a topic that you want to go after based on the amount of keywords that your competitors are ranking for, and then you decide, oh, hey, this is a really good post that I want to write because look at all these keywords and look at all this traffic I can potentially steal from this competitor. So the pros of that are when you know you have a very specific topic in mind, and then you can reverse engineer using Google. The cons of this approach are that sometimes you have to perform a lot of different searches to get a competitor's topic that's really going to work for you. So you have to go through that practice a few times before you find something and land on something. But if you really know what you want to talk about, that's a really good approach for you. However, in the second approach that I like to use, and my favorite approach, is what helps when you maybe don't have an idea of what you want to cover, but you know that you just want to get some ideas from your competitors. So in this approach, what you do is you'll take preferably a really big site, and then you throw it into Ahrefs so that you can reverse engineer what's called their top pages. When you take a look at your competitors' top pages, you can see all the pages that they rank the best for and drive the most traffic for on their website. So obviously that's very valuable information for you to use when determining what content to write in the future, or what content your content team is going to write in the future. So I like to look at the amount of keywords a post ranks for, as well as how much volume those posts rank for and those various keywords rank for right off the bat, just to get an idea of how much traffic potential is there. And you can do this site-wide with the competitor. Obviously you have to determine whether those topics are contextually relevant to you, but it's a really easy way to go through a competitor's site and effectively steal their best content ideas and then put them into your content calendar. And what you can do, of course, is do this across multiple competitor sites and get lots of ideas to feed your content calendar for months and months to come. The factors to consider when looking at these topics that are all outlined within the Ahrefs software are the following. So first and foremost, we talked about the keywords the post ranks for. So it's not unusual for a post to rank for thousands of keywords or more. Some might only rank for a few. So you'll have to weigh that. And obviously the more keywords a post ranks for, the more traffic potential is there. So that is something that you want to consider. So secondly, you have to consider the DR or domain rating of your competitors. So with Ahrefs, it's a scale between 0 and 100 of how competitive it is. The higher, the more competitive. So if the competitors are writing posts and they have a really high DR, you may not be able to compete with that. So you might not want to approach those topics because they inherently may just be able to rank for posts based on their DR alone. Third, you want to consider the amount of referring domains, or RD. If a competitor has 40, 50, 100 referring domains to their posts, that might attribute to the rankings. So you have to decide whether you want to build that many links effectively, because you're going to have to build as many or more links potentially to outrank them. So you need to know referring domains before you decide whether that's something that you want to go after. Also, keyword difficulty, how difficult it is to rank for a keyword, which is also related to the amount of referring domains. So that's a metric also between 0 and 100. And finally, and perhaps where you would start with all this, is the quality of the content. So the quality of the content is your view of their content and the UX, the user experience that content provides. So is it well written? Is it thorough? Is it a subject matter expert? Does it look good? Does it flow well? There's definitely some objective things you can look at with content, but there's also kind of that sixth sense. You can just say, hey, this looks really professional content, or they have this amazing video or graphic design, and if you have the capabilities to duplicate that, then by all means you should consider it. So as a bonus tip, you can take all these factors we just mentioned and filter them. So the beauty of Ahrefs software is that you can take all those factors we just talked about and then filter them to really narrow down the kind of content you want to compete with. So for example, I like to take a competitor's site that's very large and then reverse engineer it by keyword difficulty. And so with the keyword difficulty filter, I can say, for example, keyword difficulty of 10 or below, and then look at the content that has that KD of 10 or below, which means it's much easier to rank for, and it's likely that I have to build much fewer links to get that content to rank. So there's often a lot of high volume keywords and traffic available with lower KD posts, and that's basically low hanging fruit. So with that filter, you can just find anything you want and then kind of play with it to decide, hey, I can compete with this, or hey, that's just not possible for me to compete with. Let me not even dive into that. So everything with SEO is about competition and what your competitors are doing, and then where you are, where you stand, and if you can even rank. So you have to consider those things and learn more about that aspect of SEO to have the most effective content and not to waste time creating content that doesn't rank. So that's how you steal your competitor's best content. Go out there and crush it. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below.